here you have different dynamic activities that you can use in your classroom with your students. As a recommendation, have fun. Okay, that's the main idea, just to have fun while your students are learning. Make your students feel completely different with this. I'm quite sure they will feel the difference in your classes. They will feel that you are just giving a wild turn to your classes, okay, because you are not the same teacher probably, no?
The first one I'm going to give you is flossing. Do you know what flossing means?
I mean actually flossing?
No, it's slang.
Right. It's slang.
I mean, you do know what actual flossing is.
Well, I know the Americans' opinion of British dental practice, but yes, I do know what that is.
Flossing.
That would be something close-fitting, and no. I don't know.
No. Oh.
Talking about comprehensible inputs, here you can use lots of different authentic materials, especially listening, for listening activities, right? The more comprehensible input your students receive, the better their vocabulary and their output will be. So try this kind of videos that you can find on YouTube, from the Ellen Show, the Tonight Show, Jimmy Kimmel Show, the Graham Norton Show, even from series like The Big Bang Theory, Friends. I mean, those small videos which provide lots of cultural facts, lots of vocabulary, real vocabulary, that it's really common in the day-to-day life. Your students will be learning lots of vocabulary, pronunciation, and they will be identifying the grammatical structures that you are working or you've been working during your lessons, okay? So just don't be afraid of using this material. Something really important: you are not going to evaluate the material, you're going to evaluate the activity, okay? So you can use any kind of material, you can use any kind of listening or reading, but never evaluate the material, evaluate the activity. That's what you really want to do. You would like to use a listening, a video, for example, from the Tonight Show, and then you are like, oh my goodness, this audio or this video, it's very, very fast, very difficult. My students are just basic, they're in basic level, and they will understand anything, probably. But if you evaluate, or if you design a very nice activity, and then you help your students through the activity, before the activity and after the activity, you will have that success that you are really looking for. For instance, there is the video that I just showed you about Ellen and Hugh Laurie from Dr. House, and as you could see there, they are sharing different slang words, American and British slang words, right? Of course they are speaking really fast, but here it is the activity that you can do with your students, okay? The words and their definitions are really clear during the video, okay? So I'm quite sure even your students are from basic level, they will catch the definition in the audio, right, or in the conversation, and they will understand that. Just try to remind your students that the most important thing is to understand or to identify keywords or chunks that help them understand the general idea, right? Help them how to focus on the activity, on what you are asking, and help them identify, okay, the answers with taking the stress and the anxiety levels out of their minds, of their bodies, and having your students in a very relaxing atmosphere, okay, and with the activity that you just designed in a very nice way according to the level. So no matter the listening, no matter the material, no matter the level of this material, But what really matters is the activity. Okay, you are not going to test your students' memory. Okay, you don't want your students to memorize anything. Like, okay, who can tell me what Ellen said about flossing? What? Your student like, my goodness, when did she say that? Oh, I remember the word flossing, but what did she say about that? I mean, no, okay? You are not going to test your students' memory, okay? You are going to help them understand, okay, comprehend the audio, right? Get the main idea of the conversation, and well, that's everything. I mean, just the activity, not the audio, not the memory, okay? And you will have lots of fun with these activities because there are many videos that you can use for these activities. Will help you have a very dynamic classes, and try to use these videos or these sort of activities, listening activities, as much as you can. I mean, try to work at least 2 listening activities by week. Okay, I mean in every week and in every 2 lessons, and you will help your students a lot with the vocabulary, pronunciation, structures, everything. Okay, so this will give you very dynamic classes, even if they have to write or copy the exercise from the board to their notebooks, onto their notebooks. All right, so try listening materials, authentic material from authentic talk shows, series, cartoons, movies, whatever. Don't be afraid. Just remember, evaluate the activity, not the material. Yeah, very easy. In this activity, well, you will bring to your students a very completely different way to work with songs, right? When we bring songs to a classroom, we usually work with fill in the blanks, complete with the words from the box, or on scramble the words, and all those similar activities, very usual activities. So this time we're going to work in a very different way. Okay, first recommendation. It is obviously that you will need a song, but I recommend you not to use an English song. Try to use a French song, Italian song, Spanish song. If you want to use an English song, it's okay, there is no problem. But the main idea of this activity is to make students feel completely different. Let them know that working with songs is not the usual stuff, alright? And besides, this activity deals with speaking, okay, but in a very dynamic way. For instance, everything you will need is only your song, okay, the one that you choose. And in the classroom, your students will take just the half of a piece of paper, okay? And of course, the pencils or the pens or markers, colors, whatever they want, okay? Instructions are very simple. You just tell your students that you will play a song, okay? While they are listening to the song, they have to draw, okay, to create a small drawing which expresses the feelings or the imagination or the thoughts that the song makes them feel at that moment while they are listening to that song, okay? It doesn't matter that if your students are really bad at drawing, that is not important. The thing is that they have to draw something on the paper that the song makes them feel, imagine, think, whatever, okay? The only rule is that when the song finishes, they must drop their pencils, okay? They must stop drawing. Later, you get your students in small pairs, so in pairs or small teams, and each student will describe the small drawing, okay, or the small picture they just created while they were listening to the song. Your students will be explaining, oh, here in this drawing, well, I draw myself, and I am lying next to a river, and there are birds flying with the sun. It's a very sunny day. I mean, they will explain their drawings to each other, okay? Give your students to do this activity about 1 or 2 minutes, because of course drawings will be really small, okay? They will not be that complex. And later, when they finish, well, you can ask some random students to present their drawings, to the whole class, and at the end you give a very nice feedback. Of course, this activity does not focus on a specific vocabulary or structure, but probably you can adapt this just to focus on something that you really want your students to practice, to reinforce, or to focus on. All right, so this is called feelings from a song. Okay, and that's everything. You don't need to think of anything at all. You don't need a lot of time to prepare. This activity will take you is like 5 minutes more or less. So try it. It's very dynamic. It's a completely different way to work with songs into the classroom with your students. Okay, so feelings from a song, very dynamic activity. Try it and use a very wide range of songs. Okay. Cell phones. Yeah, those small devices that have your students going crazy. They are all the time on the phone, WhatsApping, or doing Facebook, or doing Instagram, taking selfies, doing lots of stuff. Okay, many editorial houses or many researchers give you the advice to bring technology into your classroom. Okay, but for reals though, in many of the schools, it is completely difficult to bring technology into our classrooms because students get doing other activities, but not the ones that you want them to do. Okay, and it is more difficult, sorry, when you have a group of 30 students, 40 students. You cannot look at each of the students just to see if they are really working on their cell phone or tablets or whatever. All right, but for instance, I am thinking in this moment about the present progressive. You know, we usually are looking for different ideas of how we can teach the present progressive. We try to have our students stand up and repeating the actions that we are doing, like I am running, and then repeat I am running, or I am jumping and then repeat I am jumping. Okay, but sometimes, I mean, that is not as dynamic as we think. Okay, I mean, it is like the usual things, and probably the previous schools, they work with in the same way. And well, you know, if we are, as I told you at the very beginning of the video, well, we are also always thinking of how to do the very dynamic activities, and mostly when it comes to explain a grammar structure. Okay, so here we have a very dynamic activity that will take you, or will take your students using their phones just for probably 3 minutes, more or less. Okay, I'm going to explain this activity based on teaching the present continuous. Of course, you can work this also when you want to teach adjectives or practice adjectives, or just to have your students speaking, using the language for a moment. I mean, you can adapt the activity, remember. Okay, first you ask your students to take out their phones. Okay, of course they have to unlock their phones. Have your students follow your instructions. Okay, as you are giving the instructions, please do the activities, do the action, so your students are doing the same. So give your students a few seconds to follow you and to do the activities, or to follow the orders that you are giving them at this moment. All right, so you say, okay, take out your phones, unlock your phones, and now please on your cell phone go to your gallery. Okay, go to your gallery, and on your gallery, go to your camera folder or your camera roll. Okay, and choose one picture, the picture that you like, the photo that you like the most. Please just choose it. You show the picture to your students like this way. Okay, and then you say, okay, you will get in pairs or get with in small teams of 3 or 4 probably, and together show the picture to each other. Okay, you are going to describe your partner what is happening on the picture. Okay, you will say, well, here it is me, I am giving a presentation, my friends or my classmates are listening to me, the teacher is asking me a question, I don't know. Okay, you provide examples of how to perform this activity, and then you give your students like 4 or 3 minutes to perform the same activity with their mates. Okay, so each of the students presents or explains their pictures. Okay, So this is very dynamic because they are working with something that they really like, their smartphone, okay? And you are not in the same stuff like, for the next class bring a picture or bring a poster or print out a picture that you like from the internet or bring a magazine. You keep that back in the past, right? This is one very activity in which you can use the technology, okay? It's really dynamic. Your students will really like working on this because they really love showing their photos to their friends. So this is very dynamic, and your students will really like it. And at the end, well, you just can go back to the usual stuff like explaining on the board the grammatical thing, or working on the workbook with the toes, remember, or I don't know, working on the student book or with a worksheet or whatever, okay? Try it, very dynamic activity with technology. Let's say it is a 21st century activity, okay? So let's keep going.
I am here with a urinary tract infection. Right now I am feeling the burn.
Me too. Hi.
You would make a beautiful housekeeper.
This activity is completely dynamic, completely, I mean, your students will completely love it, okay? And then they will have lots of fun doing this because it is a completely different speaking activity. Everything you need, well, you don't need to do anything, by the way. I mean, you just have to, as in the previous lesson, your students to bring just magazine cover, okay? So they can go to the newsstand and buy those magazines that cost like 10 pesos, okay? Those are for cutting, you know, the stuff that is in there. And just make sure your students get the idea that they must bring this kind of covers, okay? So when your students get here, get to the classroom, please ask them to rip a hole on the person's lips, okay, here in the mouth. They have to cut the mouth of this person on the magazine cover, all right? Probably your student or your workbook deals with the role play, or either of those books has a small conversation, and then you want your students to practice the conversation or to do the conversation like, you know, the usual role play, okay? Just for not doing the same old stuff, well, you can do it with this, okay? Have your students bring these magazine covers, and well, they will put it like this. Just cut the lips of the paper and show your students how to work with this, like this, no? How to work with these covers. And well, they will have the conversation, or probably in a previous lesson you work with having your students in small teams and create a small conversation. They will perform that activity with those magazine covers, okay? And your students will have lots of fun because they will be boys playing the role of a lady, and there will be ladies playing the role of a boy, okay? And I mean, you and your students will have lots of fun. You and your students will love this activity, and it is completely different from the usual speaking activities, from the usual role plays, okay, that you've been working through the last few lessons, okay? So this activity is really dynamic. I mean, it is not the same having your students like, oh, what do you do? Oh, I went to the cinema, and you, oh, I went to the cinema as well. I mean, no, it is completely different when you have your students, or your students are doing this speaking. They feel even more confident. That is very interesting. They feel more confident because they speak more doing that activity than when you have them doing the usual stuff. Probably because they cover their faces. They are not looking at their partners, and they don't know who is watching them, who is laughing about what they saying, or whatever, no? So they feel more confident, and they speak even more by doing this activity than when you have them participating or doing the same old activity without the magazine covers, okay? So try it, very dynamic. I'm quite sure your students will love it. And well, this is called a magazine cover talk, like the video that you just saw, right?
Hashtags. People love these things.
I love you, hashtag.
Even if you don't like them, you gotta deal with them. I'm willing to bet you know somebody that's posted a Throwback Thursday picture of them when they were younger.
You know me? I've done that.
There are actually hashtags for every day of the week. Monday.
Ugh, I hate Mondays.
Well, get ready to quit hating them. Thanks to Mashup Mondays. Take two songs that have no business being together and splice them together.
2 for Tuesday!
Yeah, Tuesday's a super easy hashtag. Call up your favorite pizza place and they probably have 2 for the price of 1 pizzas. Call a DJ and request 2 Aerosmith songs in a row.
Aerosmith is the worst.
Yeah, they really are. But getting 2 for the 1 is fantastic.
But 2 Aerosmith songs is worse than 1.
Yeah, you have a point.
Nowadays, people are using lots of these hashtag things, okay? Hashtag teacher, hashtag English, hashtag love it, hashtag James Bond. Now, come on. Well, whatever. The thing is that hashtag nowadays are very, very popular. Well, you can have a very dynamic speaking activity with this topic, okay? You start your lesson by asking your students if they know what the hashtag is, okay? And you will receive different opinions, different ideas, because this is something that your students usually know really well. So you start with a brainstorm and you write some of the ideas on the board, okay? When you finish with the brainstorm, of course, try to give your students your own definition, or try to look up the definition, the Oxford dictionaries or Merriam-Webster dictionaries, so you can bring that definition to your students and try to make that definition of the concept clearer. And well, you explain all that, and at the end, well, try to do this. In America, there is a hashtag for each day of the week. Okay, there is a hashtag for Monday, there is a hashtag for Tuesday, there is a hashtag for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so on and so on. Then you write the days of the week on the board. Okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, and then you say, so in America, people have a hashtag for each day of the week. Those hashtags are very popular, and I'm going to show you some of the most popular hashtag that Americans use in nowadays. Okay, I recommend you to, before giving this lesson, look for the updated information. Okay, because the ones that I know, or the ones that I was reading back in the day, well, probably might not be the same nowadays. But here are some examples. For Monday, hashtag mash up Monday. Okay, and then you explain. Well, Americans use this hashtag because they call to the radio on Mondays and they ask to the radio to put 2 songs together. For instance, they ask to play a Daddy Yankee song with no lyrics, only the song, okay, or only the beats, and at the same time they want to play a Justin Bieber but only the lyrics, okay, just the lyrics without the beat. And then they put them together, they mix them up, and then they see what happens with that. Okay, that is Mashup Mondays, hashtag Mashup Mondays, and that's what people usually do, Americans usually do on Mondays. Okay, probably nowadays could be different. Okay, later it comes the speaking. When you finish explaining all these hashtags, okay, you ask your students to get, especially in teams of 7 days of the week, 7 students. Okay, together they will create 1 hashtag for each day of the week. They have to invent new hashtags. Okay, when they do this, okay, when they finish, they will come up and they will say, okay, we have 7 hashtags, the hashtag for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so on. Okay, students must give what the hashtag is for Monday, for instance, and why they decided to create that hashtag. For example, Monday, hashtag hate Mondays. We decided to create this hashtag because everybody hates Mondays. No one likes Mondays, so hashtag hate Mondays. And then, well, you will have like 4 different teams, and all of them will present very nice activities, very funny hashtags, and you and your students will have lots of fun listening to what others have to say, or just the crazy inventions they are inventing at that moment with the hashtags. Okay, it is very dynamic. Your students will learn a lot of vocabulary that is important, because they will be asking you, teacher, how can I say this? Teacher, what is this expression in English? Or teacher, whatever. Okay, so they will learn lots of vocabulary, lots of vocabulary, and it is really dynamic when it comes that students must be to the front, and will have to be to the front and explain or present their hashtags. So hashtags for the week, that is the name of this activity. Deck of cards, poker cards. Okay, how can you have a very dynamic speaking activity with this? Okay, on the comments there is a link which will take you directly to a PDF in which you will find 4 different pages. Each of the sheets will have all the questions, okay, different questions according to the shape of the deck of the cards. Okay, as you know, we have different shapes. For example, we have the diamonds. Well, these are the diamonds, and what other we have? This diamond, the hearts. Okay, well, you know, there are 4 different shapes. Okay, there on the file you will find all the question according to each number, okay, or to each card. For example, you have 4 of hearts, 5 of hearts, 2 of hearts, and whatever. Okay, each card has a different question. Each shape deals with a different category. Okay, for example, likes and dislikes, others with things from the past, others with things from the future, others, I mean, different categories. Okay, you can take a look at the questions. If there is a question that you don't like, of course you can change it. Okay, but this is very simple. Everything you need is just to print out that file. Okay, there are 2 different ways to work with this activity. One is if you have a very small group, let's say a group of 10 probably, well, you just print your file, okay, and you bring the deck of cards. Explain your students that they will take turns, and they will pick one of the cards. They don't have to see the card, okay? They will pick the one that they like the most. And when they pick the card, ask them to show you the card. That card has a question. You ask the question to that student, and that student must give you an answer. The questions on the file will elicit students to give very complex questions, okay? Sorry, answers. It is not about question this, and the student then answers, yes, I do. The questions elicit students to give more complex answers, okay? And the questions themselves encourage more complex answers, long answers from your students, okay? And well, this is very dynamic because your students don't know what they will be asked, okay? When they pick, even if they know what the card is, they will never know what will they be asked, okay? Because you have the questions. The second way is similar. The thing is, if you have a group of 20, 30, 35 students, you ask your students to get in small teams. You print out your file and take the copies. I don't know, if you have 7 teams, well, you take 7 copies from the same file and handle one set of the copies to each team. Okay, probably you can ask your students to buy a deck of cards, so you don't have to buy all the deck of cards because it's too much money. But you can ask your students in a previous lesson to go to Walmart, to the supermarket, and buy one deck of these cards, okay, and bring it to the next lesson. One by team, of course, okay. And then you handle the file, and your students will take turns to pick the card, and then you will have your students practicing speaking because they will have to ask each other and answer each other, and everybody will be listening what their mates are saying. They will be working by teams together, and well, you only monitor the activity, help with possible problems or difficulties that your students may face at that moment in a very specific question, or probably there is a question that your students don't it's not really clear for your students, so you might want to explain that question to them. And that's everything you have to do, okay? You will spend like 30 minutes probably. If you want them to finish all the deck, well, it's too much, I know. So probably you will have like, I don't know, 10 minutes or 5 minutes doing this activity. But this is very dynamic, believe me, it is very dynamic because they like having cards, okay, especially this kind of cards. So try it. and it is called a talking cars or speaking cars activity. Okay, so here is one more activity, and just try it and tell me what you think about this. If you know more activities, if you know more dynamic activities, don't forget to share it with us. Okay, leave them there in the comments. If you saw the activity on a blog, well, post the link below in the comments, and share experiences, share the activities, the materials, everything. And we are talking about dynamic activities and not the usual stuff. Okay, so just write the activity that you know that you would like to share with us there on the comments, and of course we all comment on your activity, or we'll be asking you about possible questions that we may have about how to perform it, or the kind of materials, or any question. Okay, this is it about this dynamic vlog, let's say. No, well, just don't forget to give me a thumbs up, or just any of the reactions on Facebook. Don't forget to leave your comments about this vlog. Remember that you can ask me whatever you want about the topic. If you want me to talk about or discuss about something specific on the next episode, just leave it on the comments. I will promptly answer your comments, your questions, your everything. Okay, so here are these dynamic activities. Try them. I'm quite sure you will be seen as the most dynamic teacher ever in that school. Your students will have lots of fun. Just don't forget to monitor the activities. Don't forget to adapt the activity. Don't forget to update the activity as well, because sometimes some of these activities must be updated, like the hashtag activity. No, we need to check if the hashtags are the same, or there are new hashtags. But well, I mean, this is the important thing. We usually don't have enough time at home to plan a lot of things. As you can see, you don't have to plan a lot. Okay, the activities are very easy. The materials that you will need, well, we'll have those materials, so we can get those materials on the way to work, on the way home, or when we are in the supermarket or in the market or in any other place. You can get those materials. You don't need a lot of time to plan, to check this activity. Okay, so this is it. I see you next week in a very brand new episode, very interesting episode. This time this episode deals with our students. Oh my god, yes, they will give some comments about some things. Okay, you will see later. So thank you very much. See you next week in a very brand new episode. And this is it. Have fun, have lots of fun, and peace and love. See you later. Go.